Hello everyone, it's Writer Punk. In today's video, I will share what I believe are overlooked but healthy writing tips and habits, particularly for new young writers or those who will be doing Nano for the first time. That was new or young writers, not new, young writers. Please keep in mind that this is not an exhaustive or all-inclusive list. There are plenty of other habits that you could develop that would be good to develop, such as regularly drinking water, but that's a general health tip, and I am not a doctor, so I'm just going to focus on ones that will potentially have a direct effect on your writing. So, let's go. Habit 1 is regularly tidying up your workspace. If you're anything like me, your desk will slowly accumulate random shit that does not belong there, like cups, speakers, laser pointers, stickers, coasters, your spouse's glasses, remotes, random stuff. It does not belong there. Let's clean it up. Once a week or so, I also like to wipe down my desk with a 2-to-1 ratio of water and vinegar, and then burn a candle or use my diffuser nearby to freshen up the air so it doesn't smell like vinegar. Wipe down my monitor, my keyboard, and my mouse, and also clean the dust bunnies from my wires and computer tower. When I am using my tablet, I will wipe down the screen with a screen cleaner, which is why it's on my desk, because I use my tablet to draw, and if I don't, it accumulates all these lovely little skin oils from my hand dragging across the screen protector, and it's really nasty. So, if you write by hand, remember to dump out your utensil cup or drawer or bag or your pile, just spread it out, clean it, get rid of broken and dead utensils, pencil shavings, eraser bits, earrings, stuff that doesn't belong in there, and organize your stationery and or notebooks somehow that is convenient for you. I don't know anything about typewriter care, so if you use one, I'm going to assume that you know how to clean it. While we're looking at our workspace, look around and see if there's anything you can do to change things up a bit, which I like to do because it helps if I feel stuck or murky. If space permits, maybe try moving your desk or working area near an open window, or a closed window. The increased airflow or sunlight could help you concentrate better. Also try swapping out or rearranging nearby decor like paintings, tapestries, calendars, little word art signs, figurines, whatever. Of course, however, be careful to not use anything I just said as an excuse to procrastinate. On that note, let's talk about the 2 most common times I see writers, including myself, get in their own way when we're struggling with procrastination or imposter syndrome. That was a colon. I did not read that correctly. Easily, though, the most common issue I have observed in writers, including myself, is procrastination. Procrastination is defined as the action of delaying or postponing something which you could be doing intentionally or not. Sometimes we procrastinate because our subconscious has realized that there is dissonance between what we have written and what we want to write, which, in my opinion, is the most frequent cause of writer's block. Other times, you can procrastinate because of things like stress, untamed perfectionism, failing motivation, and low creative self-confidence. When I catch myself procrastinating, I find it most helpful to make a realistic to-do list and work through that piece by piece, giving myself enough time to complete it without allowing myself to procrastinate further. Being flexible and taking time to refresh and reset without feeling any guilt has done a lot of things for my productivity and has helped with procrastination. As far as having imposter syndrome goes, I'm going to take the stance of, if you write, you are a writer. There's nothing else to it. If you put down words on a page in a creative way, congratulations, you are a writer. Even if you just put down your first word 6 minutes ago, you're not any less worthy or meaningful as a creator than someone who's been writing for 40 years, or someone who is on the New York Times bestsellers list, or anything like that. Nobody expects you to be an expert in the craft with a film deal and your book printed in 6 different foreign languages before you're allowed to share your ideas, opinions, experiences, and stories. If anybody does, they're the ones who are missing out, because communication and sharing with others is at the heart of storytelling. So, the second habit is to practice telling your inner self-saboteur to get lost. This also ties into our third habit, so we're going to move on. Our third habit is being assertive about our work. I am flipping between pronouns like a madwoman. It's very easy to be self-deprecating when we talk about our projects, but it's not really a great way to raise confidence in yourself, and especially to introduce other people to your work. I know it can be really uncomfortable to speak positively about your art, especially when you're just starting out, and I myself still struggle with this sometimes, but being assertive about what you're working on shows your audience, whether that's other writers or readers or your family or the endless expanse of the void, that you genuinely believe in this project's worth, that you're confident in yourself, your craft, and your creative direction, and that you know what you and your project need to be successful. Even if you're not quite there yet in your heart of hearts on any of those things, just pretend that you are, because very few people will be able to tell. However, speaking positively about your work does not mean singing your own praises at the expense of ignoring things that you need to improve on, nor does it mean putting others down to elevate yourself. At best, self-deprecation or passivity might come across like you're fishing for compliments, and at worst, it can make it seem like you didn't put in any effort, and why would anybody care about your work if you don't care about it? On the other side of the coin, being aggressive in your self-confidence is a major turnoff for most would-be helpers and is an active detriment to refining your skills. I wrote some example sentences based on things I have seen other writers, and there's maybe one or two in there that I have sent before, post on places like Reddit and Discord and other various writing forums. These aren't direct rips of quotes, they're just inspired by quotes that I have seen. So I know it sucks, but here's what I wrote today. It's trash, LOL, so I'll probably delete it. Just lay it on me. I wrote this today, but there's something off with it that I just can't quite put my finger on. Any ideas? Did you see the chapter I wrote today? I thought it was great. What do they mean this part doesn't flow? Hello? Did they even read it? Hey, don't know if anybody cares, but here's this thing I wrote. I'll just leave it here. You don't get to criticize my story when you didn't even use the correct your in the last chapter you shared. Hey guys, here's my latest chapter. I know I need to work on X and Y, but overall I'm really proud of Z. Which of those sound more like a writer that you would want to work with? And which of them sound more confident in their creativity, in their story? If you're finding it difficult to talk about your work without focusing just on the things that you dislike, try giving yourself a crit sandwich. Find one thing that you like about it, one thing you'd like to improve, and one more positive thing. You have to practice doing this every time you write so that it sticks. And remember, you are the ultimate authority on your own work. Nobody knows as much about it as you do. Nobody cares as much about it as you do. Yet. Hopefully yet. So, act like the benevolent despot you are. Habit 4 is taking regular breaks. Personally, I believe that taking breaks is a huge boon to your creativity, but it's something that I frequently see dismissed within the community as not being beneficial at all. I think that not only is it ideal to take breaks within regular sessions, but also to take a few longer breaks in general, especially if you've had multiple intense sessions or if you just worked through a particularly, difficult or dark or emotional part. This may be an unpopular opinion, but it's perfectly natural and normal to not want to constantly be working on your story. You're allowed to have other hobbies and interests. I personally encourage it. The good thing about writing, too, is that unlike gardening, nothing is going to die if you just skip a day or two of watering. As a word of caution, however, if you're prone to procrastination, it might be a good idea to set a limit on how long you take away to keep yourself accountable. I sometimes apply a modified version of the Pomodoro technique suited to my needs in my writing sessions. If, like me, you're wondering, What's a pomodoro? It means tomato in Italian. The technique was developed by Francesco Cirillo in the 80s, who I believe used a tomato-shaped egg timer to develop his technique. Officially, the Pomodoro technique follows a 25-5 30-minute timer pattern, but obviously you can change that however you like. I usually set the writing timer for 20 minutes, the short break timer for 5, and then repeat this cycle 4 times, and on the 4th break, take a 15-minute break instead of a 5-minute one. That allows me to stretch, stand up, get a drink or a snack, use the restroom, play with my cats, whatever, without breaking my flow. Personally, I use the Focus Keeper app to keep track of my sessions, and it was made with the Pomodoro technique in mind, but it wouldn't be difficult at all to use an actual egg timer, or your phone, or just a regular alarm clock, and you can also Google timer and set yourself reminders just in your browser. Our final habit is going to be to stop putting the critique cart before the writing horse. Giving, receiving, and applying critique is definitely a lengthy enough topic in and of itself to warrant its own discussion, but I would be remiss to not mention it here since Nano is looming. Trying to find out what is wrong with your piece before you've even finished it is only going to lead you to frustration. Similarly to speaking poorly of your work, it's not at all likely to raise your confidence, and it can actively work against you when you're trying to make progress. Just slow down, relax, take your time, leave critique for finished drafts. I know it can be beyond exciting to share your work with others, especially if you've written something you're particularly proud of, or if you made a breakthrough on a difficult scene, but that excitement will only grow by holding off on asking for critique until you've given yourself enough time to put your full effort into your draft. There will be plenty of time for comments and criticism and to revise and edit and share your story once you have finished a draft. In my opinion, putting the critique cart before the writing horse is most lethal to writers who share their first chapter right out of the gate as soon as they've finished it and go post it on a large anonymous forum like Reddit. First chapters are just hard enough in themselves. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by sharing them, especially, and I stress, especially if you are pantsing as a newbie and you don't know where the story is going to go after this. I speak from experience. Because, yes, there was a time when the outline queen was a pantser, and it super did not work for me because I was so young and inexperienced, and I did not have a good idea of where I wanted to take the story afterward. Even now, it's about 5 years later, I am really hesitant to share work with writers that I am not familiar with. But I think that is a wrap on 5 often overlooked but generally healthy writing habits to start before Nano. But before you go, don't forget to answer this week's weekly topic. Journal it, think about it, send it as a comment, keep it to yourself, do whatever you like. I always appreciate your comments, likes, and subscriptions. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you sometime soon.